Alrighty, it is Thursday, March 14th. We are live with a session recap here. Starting off with ES, there are two primary things I wanted to bring to your attention today, this afternoon. Number one being just look at the reaction versus this resistance zone, right? Came into the session wanting to see how price was going to be trading versus this resistance zone. We get the initial test pretty early this morning, around 6 a.m. this morning. Price starts to mark a high there, right, and really rolls over. We have the open. There's that opening 30-minute bar. Trades down through the low of that opening 30-minute bar and pretty much never looks back from there. You do get an afternoon range, right? Definitely a tradable range there in the afternoon. Is about 20 points wide, which can be incredibly lucrative depending on how you like to trade and if you are actually active during the late morning and afternoon session. But overall, some really good action for today. Remember what I was saying on Tuesday. You really want to make sure that you're surviving on the choppier range-bound sessions, the days like we had on Monday, right? You want to make sure you're surviving on those days so you have the mental capital and the trading capital for that matter to actually be able to trade Tuesday's session. And the same thing goes for today, right? Yesterday, much slower session. If you get burned out or you do too much damage to your account or too much damage to your mental or emotional capital, right? You can't come into today with a clear mind. And today is when we really want to be active as a trader. So just something to keep in mind. I always want to be aware of when conditions can be a little bit choppier so that you can actually just, position yourself to be doing less and really focusing on the sessions that can really make your week. A day like Tuesday, a day like today can really, really make your week depending on how you play it. So just some things to keep in mind there. Now, the other item I wanted to bring to your attention is, one of the aspects that we talked about yesterday and we've talked about a number of times before is the concept of that inside day. We did have an inside day yesterday. That just means that all of the day's action was within the prior day's range. So if you take a look at the regular trading hours chart, it does make it a little bit more clear. So these vertical dashed lines delineate each trading day. So you could see Tuesday's action right through here. Now coming into Wednesday, we had fully expected this type of session simply because following that type of trend day, following that type of outsized move, probability does favor an inside day. So you can see all of the action here trades within Tuesday's range. Now, following an inside day, what you really want to be paying attention to is how price trades versus that inside day's range. So in a case like today, what we want to see is how price is going to be trading versus yesterday's range. Here's yesterday's high. Here's yesterday's low. And the general rule of thumb is that whichever direction that price breaks in, meaning in this case, if it breaks the high, you want to be focused on longs. If it breaks the low, you want to be focused on shorts, right? And we see this play out time and time again. Anytime that inside day is breaking and you have acceptance below, in this case, that prior day low, probably want to be focusing your efforts to the short side, right? So these are some kind of tools to keep in mind and to kind of use to your advantage so you know which side, which trade is going to be more favorable, and you can kind of position yourself and get yourself ready for that type of move. As far as what we're looking at for tomorrow, Friday, well, take a look at the week's action here. Currently trading, this is Monday, price is currently trading within the middle of this week's action. We do have a couple of levels of interest nearby, 5220, 5200, right? Nice rally into the close here. Just going to continue to be watching this range. This is nothing more than a range. If we flip over to the 30-minute chart or even the hourly chart, price continues to trade in that range-bound action. Now, one thing I am keeping an eye on currently, this is definitely a significant area of support down through here, but more interesting than that to me is kind of this series of higher lows that has developed. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on today's low. This will probably be pretty significant, and then as well as the 52.20 area. If price can really break up and through that 52.20 and continue to hold, I imagine that a retest of that resistance zone is in the cards. Again, no crystal ball here or anything like that, just looking at what price action is showing and how the structure continues to build out. So that's what we'll be looking at for tomorrow. Again, this is going to be depending on how active the overnight session is. We do have some data at 10 a.m. tomorrow as well. So probably a slower start, slower open to the day, and then maybe some volatility around 10 a.m. for a potential 10 a.m. reversal time type of trade or something like that. As always, we'll kind of get the game plan together tomorrow morning during the pre-market prep live stream. But that's ES, primarily going to be focused on that 52.20 level of interest and potentially the 5200 into prior day low area. Just take a look at this hourly chart, right? Got a big hammer candle right through here on this near-term volume point of control. So it's kind of the main watch for ES. Now NQ, a little bit different. Price continues to just kind of oscillate near the middle of the range. ES, we had price action trading near the high of the range. That's just not the case in NQ. NQ definitely coiling, right? We do have, if you take a look at the daily, you can kind of see prices just getting tighter and tighter and tighter on the daily time frame here. So definitely some type of outsized move is getting ready in NQ. Anytime you have the action getting tighter and tighter, think of it like a spring, going to get some type of big directional move one way or another. So keeping a very close eye on this. Notable the series of lower highs here, right? And then just pretty firm support down into this area, this 18,180 area. So for tomorrow, what I want to see in NQ is how price is going to be trading versus this 18,300 level of interest. This has served as a pretty good level for the duration of the week and even weeks prior. You can see how well that area is working. It also happens to be the near-term range, or at this point, intermediate term range volume point of control. So that's definitely going to be a significant level. We'll be watching the reaction versus that 300 level into tomorrow's session, treating this again like a range, absolutely range bound. We want to see, how the structure continues to develop within this range. Individual names, incredibly dry, right? We're in slow season now. Just looking at the FUTU as a second day, this has potential to be a continuation play to the downside. Right, look at the first day volume point of control, still way up here. There's no afternoon base or anything like that. So it tells us that the selling is most likely not done. So we'll see how that looks in the morning. Got a big, broad sell bar right through here after price test, that key area of resistance. So pretty straightforward setup there in FUTU. Other than that, that's about it for the list. Hope everyone had a good day, profitable session. Again, some really, really good action today. Something for everyone, definitely, depending on what strategies you like to trade. We've got VWAP pretty much keeping a lid on price action for the entirety of the day, and then some good intraday reversal setups versus levels of interest. So hope it was a profitable day for you guys. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning for the pre-market prep live stream. Have a great afternoon. Later.